day, viewers. Welcome to another special edition of On the Spot with me, Kalistu Mukoroli. Today in studio, I'm joined by none other than Kalistu Mukoroli, the creative director of Windhoek Fashion Week. Welcome, Kali.
Hey, Priscilla. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So today we'll be unpacking the evolution of Namibia's fashion industry, celebrating a decade of style and creativity, and exploring how this iconic event continues to shape the local and global fashion scene. So first of all, congratulations on the Windhoek Fashion Week's 10th anniversary, and how does it feel to reach this incredible milestone?
I think it's incredible to have seen where the MTC Windhoek Fashion Week comes from and where it is now, the impact that it has done to Namibians. It's really quite incredible, and we're still in awe and we're still celebrating.
Okay. Now, take us back. What inspired the creation of Windhoek Fashion Week?
So, we used to attend a lot of events outside Namibia because those back then wasn't really, or we weren't having a creative industry that we have now. So a lot of the shows, activities, and so on that happened was mostly in South Africa. So we attended most of the shows, and we're like, you know what? We travel so much to attend to these things. Why not start creating some of the activities in our own country? Because at that time also the other co-founder, Luis Nana, was modeling in South Africa. And literally the idea was born in a restaurant where we're sitting as friends and say, you know what, let's do something about it. What is out there? We're looking at names, possible names. So we're looking at different town names. We're looking at how do we conceptualize, MTC Windhoek Fashion Week from a dream to a reality. And yeah, that's where it started. And 10 years later, we have a naming partner, which is MTC. Okay.
You mentioned that back then, like you mentioned about the creative industry. Yeah. Can you maybe tell us how was the creative industry back then compared to now?
I think we had the Namas. Before that, we had the Sanlam Music Awards. We had that competition that was running at NBC. We had here and there, festivals. I think we had the one that Huisgenoot used to sponsor with FNB. We had very little. And we also had very little shows on television that were centered around the creative industry. In fashion, we had designers that showcased on their own, but never as a collective. So back then, we were literally in an infancy stage. I would say the creative industry didn't really exist back then. Individuals existed.
Yeah. So, over the past decade, what have been some of the defining moments that shaped the Windhoek Fashion Week's journey?
I think there are quite a number. One of them is Fashion Meets Sound. It's an initiative that we created where we partner up fashion designers with local sound engineers or musicians to create sound for runway. We traveled the whole country where we hosted networking sessions and master classes really around the creative industry. Yes, we are fashion, but we had, we really saw that there is a gap within understanding the business aspect and the creative aspect of the industry. So we traveled all around the country, and we had master classes with artists, with fashion designers, with creative industry people in different towns. And also what we did is we did pop-up shops. Okay. So that people just know what fashion is about. So we did in the different towns in the country, pop-up shops. The other one was Fashion Peach Night. You had fashion designer, photographers, makeup artists, hairdressers, come and pitch their idea for funding. Funding and equipment and soft skills business, workshops and stuff that they could win. So that's another initiative that we ran. An initiative that's really dear to our heart is the Graduate Program. It's a program we started around 2017 because we don't have a platform where fashion design students or any other students really get to learn on the job. That's excluding office work.
Yeah.
Because you can get marketing people, get logistics people that can work at Fashion Week. And that's what's currently happening now. We have that graduate program that's been running since 2017 and now. And we had the privilege of hosting the University of Joburg and Wits University from Africa. They had sent about 100 students for 3 years consecutively that came to intern at our Fashion Week. And now we have College of the Arts, UNAM, we have NUST, we have COSTEF, IUM, everybody now, especially this year, we expanded on that program with the MTC internship program that they have. So all the interns we had came from different, sectors and different universities. We had HR students, we had marketing students, logistics students, with fashion design students. So they get to experience really on the job, and not just because you think marketing is just to sit in, in the office, logistics just sit in the office. No, they actually experience, is this camera there? Did we book it out? How does it look like? The vendors, are they bringing the correct thing that we requested for? So those are some of the initiatives. And the other big one, the last one that we're also pushing, is the designer exchange program with Durban Fashion Fair in South Africa and Bato Fashion Week in Botswana. So we send designers to showcase in those countries, and they send their designers to showcase in our countries. And that really has given our designers an opportunity to a new audience, new market, and possibly new clientele.
How many designers are we talking about? The designers that we sent abroad? So
at the moment, we sent 2 to each. And also, it's all about funding, because we fund it ourselves. We're not funded by anyone. Through our partnership with MTC, which is the main sponsor of the MTC Windhoek Fashion Week. So in that space, we fund it to make sure, listen, let's give an opportunity to others to also participate. Because we created this platform not for us, but for the country. So let the country benefit. That's why even when we started, we put in our own money, but we wanted the country to benefit and not individuals to benefit from it. That's why you can see we have diverse designers that we've sent across, to showcase at those places. We work with diverse people in the industry. So yeah, it's like we said, it's something we created really for the country and not just for us.
When you send designers, do you send the same designers every year or different designers?
Different designers. So every year we look at student designers, we look at emerging and established. So this year we send a College of the Arts student that showcased last year with an emerging designer to Botswana. Then we send another designer to Durban, as well as Collab. Collab is the collective designers that are in a retail store. So they showcase this year as well. So every year we look at designers that obviously have showcase on our platforms, and we give them opportunity to showcase outside. So every year is different designers that we choose.
I'm also inspired to be a fashion designer.
I mean, like, nothing can stop you. If you can't sketch, if you can't sew, somebody can do it for you. If you have the idea and how you want it to look like, somebody can do it for you.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll try it. It's so inspiring. Okay. How has the Windhoek Fashion Week influenced the local fashion scene here in Namibia?
I think at the moment you can really see there is a local fashion scene.
Yes.
People get excited for it. People get to see new designers that are coming off the ramp from MTC Windhoek Fashion Week. So it's quite. It's been evolving. You can see the revolution in the fashion space, because back then, when you said creative industry, it was music and visual arts.
True.
Us, we didn't exist. That's why we took it upon ourselves to say, you know what, we are going to make a point for people to recognize fashion, to see that fashion is part of the creative industry, and that's what's happening right now. We had the privilege this year to host the U.S. ambassador, to host Deputy Minister of Education, Deputy Minister of International Relations, Herero chiefs, corporate world we had the opportunity to do that. And also the fact that we introduced since last year, a traditional fashion show that just focuses solely on the tradition of a specific tribe in Namibia. Last year we did the Damara Horokos. This year we did the Overherero tradition. So not only are we looking at the dresses, but the tradition. If somebody passes away, what do they wear? If somebody gets married, what do they wear? If you're a child, what do you wear? If you're an adolescent, what do you wear? If you're an elder, what do you wear? So that Namibians get to understand that. So that's the focus that we're pushing.
You guys are doing an amazing job in promoting the fashion industry. I mean, do you even guys have competition?
I think we don't see others in the industry's competition. We see as collaborators. Because at the end of the day, one entity cannot push the fashion scene alone. College of the Arts is doing their job. The other fashion week is doing their job. UNAM is doing their job. We are doing their job. MTC is doing their job in terms of contributing. You guys, the media, are playing a huge role in giving us a platform to shape the narrative. So everybody is playing their role. And at the end of the day, if you put the cycle in one, you'll see that it's one entity, but with different collaborators.
True.
Yeah.
I agree. So how would you describe the state of fashion industry in Namibia? Or the creative industry in Namibia as it stands, how people go on about the creative industry, not just fashion, but the creative industry in general.
Yeah. I think there is some sort of recognition coming. Not even I think, I believe now the recognition is there. Because you can see this conversation within government, this conversation within the corporate world. So the scene has evolved. We're no more saying, oh, there's like a blogger here, there's a what here. You can see there's a creative industry. People that live off what they're doing, they've created careers around what they're doing. So the industry has grown from back then to now. You can pinpoint certain, industry within the creative space that are creating jobs, So the industry has grown and it's growing, and there's a lot of investment in terms of talent in there, and every year, every day there's new talent coming out. So, and I do applaud the government for starting to have the conversation and literally just putting the words creative industry in their speeches. That already tells you that they are recognizing what we're doing.
Okay. In your own view, what makes the Namibian fashion unique in the African continent?
I think because we're talented and we love telling our story. We take pride in who we are as Namibians. We can modernize something, but still that connection to say it's Namibian. The fact that we also have certain material that we can say it's Namibian focused material. If you put it out there, you can. And the fact that not only are we getting opportunity on an international stage to tell our narrative, we're being recognized for that. We're being part of panel discussions to contribute to the international narrative of fashion or of the creative industry.
Okay. So how can collaboration between designers, government, and private sponsorship help grow the industry?
It will create jobs. That's number one. At the moment, it is. People tend to tell me that I shouldn't say it, but the fashion industry contributes in terms of job creations. I'm not in music. I cannot speak on music's behalf. I'm speaking on behalf of fashion designers, tailors. We are contributing in terms of, creating jobs. So that itself tells you already that the opportunities are there. We just need more funding. Understand? We just need more funding. Not at times funding is not always money. Give us a space because rental is killing us. Give us equipment because we don't have money to buy the equipment. You don't need to give me $1 million. Give me a space and say, I'm giving you the space for rent-free for 12 months. Then we'll show you what we can do.
Yeah.
Give us equipment, then we can show you what we can produce to sell or to give out. So the opportunities are there. We don't just need the money. Yes, we need the money. But if you cannot give us money, if you say you don't have money, give us equipment, give us opportunity, collaborate with us as corporate world to create your uniforms. Why are we buying uniforms still from South Africa while we can produce this here in Namibia?
I heard Amushelelo was speaking about that we must start.
I worked in manufacturing for about 3 years.
Yes.
And you can really see that we can create anything here. If we had big mining companies that are buying local, and we know how mining companies are about, their ISO, what, their quality, and you're telling me as a corporate you cannot have your clothes made in Namibia. That's a conversation we need to have, and that's something that we are pushing for.
But is it something that you are suggesting to the relevant people? Like, are you guys sending proposals, or this is just something that you have, like the idea that you have, but you can't suggest it to the
I think
relevant people?
the era of sending proposals are gone. You can see what's happening in the fashion space. Why do you still want us in the fashion space to send you a proposal? Why not invite us to the table to have a conversation? I think if whoever out there is still asking for proposals, why? Make me understand what the proposal will show you different from what you see outside, what you see in the media.
Yeah.
No one can tell me they don't know about a Kasi Vibe, they don't know about an MTC Windhoek Fashion Week, they don't know about a Content Creators Award, they don't know about a Katutura Fashion Week, they don't know about the Simply You Magazine Lifestyle and Fashion Award. No one can tell me. If you're corporate and you read newspaper, we are in there. You know we exist. Why are you asking us for a proposal? Yes, a proposal can define the other little things that we need to put in the contract and so on. But if you can see a product, why can't you just say, listen, how do we get you involved in this product? Just like when you see a catalog with a uniform, it's the same thing.
But this, we have big people, old people in higher positions, and maybe they don't trust the young people's work. Maybe it's high time, it's just a suggestion, it's high time you take your collections, knock on their door and show them your catalog. Do you think that's something that can...
It's something that we're doing at the moment through our stakeholder relations management department, where we're really going to different corporates and tell them about what the MTC Windhoek Fashion is doing. The different initiatives. You don't need to sponsor the runway show. You don't need to give funding to the runway show. You can give funding to this other thing. We have a graduate program. We have a program that we're collaborating with musicians. We have, pitch night. We have designer exchange. There's another project that we're working on now that we want to launch next year. And all of those things are activities that spread into the creative space. Not only for fashion designers, but we're looking at how do we make MTC Windhoek Fashion Week a collaborator in the creative space for everyone and not just for fashion designers. Because a lot of people think we just focus on fashion. No, we're not. So we are doing that. We are having the conversations. You get this, we have a fashion week in Namibia. It's like, yes, we do. Understand? Whether people play ignorant or they don't know, I don't know. But we're really going out there and say, let's start having this conversation with corporate world. Let's make them understand. We're not seeing the glitz and glam because they think it's glitz and glam. But when we tell them about this other things that we do, they go like, wow, you guys are doing amazing. So that's why we're doing that. That's why we're sensitizing everybody. And not only corporate world, but government as well. That's why we've hosted the deputy ministers. That's why we've hosted the ambassadors. So that if we come and knock on your door, you know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So definitely opportunity is there. And I also want to encourage others to do the same. It can't just be 5, 6, 7 people or entities or a few, half of the creative industry that's pushing, the half is not. We all need to do that. And again, creative industry isn't visual arts and music.
I see you're so passionate about fashion, and so passionate about the creative industry. It's not about fashion at the end of the day. So how would you advise an aspiring fashion designer?
I think the biggest flaw in the creative industry is business acumen. We don't understand business. We have the talent. We're so talented, but we don't understand the business part, because when you go to an MTC is asking you about commercial values. I think gone are the days where you say, what exposure can you give us? Exposure is gone. What is the commercial value that you're bringing to me as a sponsor? They want to see that commercial value to quantify it to what they can say they can give you money or not, understand? So the creative industry professionals need to understand the business aspect of anything. You need to learn how to speak business language, because when you go to these business guys and ask for money, you're not going to speak about, and I saw like this and this. No, they want to know your business part. How are you going to make sure that you don't mess up? Understand? So business part is very important. We've mastered the talent part of anything in the creative industry. We need to start mastering the business part. We need to understand the business aspect. Not only do we need to understand, your income and expenditure and so on, your price list, but you must know, if I work with this brand, what is the value that I'm giving to them? What can I align? What are they doing? How do I align my product to them? How do I tailor, this conversation to them? When they speak a certain language, do I understand that language? Understand? If you don't know that, then bring in someone that can speak that language on your behalf.
Okay. Finally, what can we expect next year at the Windhoek Fashion Week? You're always looking forward to something every year.
I think, obviously, we are going to continue on the traditional fashion show trajectory. We're just thinking, which Namibian, tribe do we want to host next year? We have so many. So we're really thinking to see who are we going to get on next year. We're going to revive some of our initiatives, and also working on new initiatives, you understand? At the end of the day, the runway show will happen. But there's other activities that we do throughout the year that contribute to the creative industry at large. Understand? So we're really working on it, and we are open for collaboration. If New Era has an idea and we need to do something in the creative space, we are always open for it. If anyone out there that wants to collaborate with us, we are always open for it. We're not just fashion. We're in television, we're in publishing, we're in events. You understand? There's a lot of things. We are open to collaboration with any other entity, organization, everybody that really wanna go and expand on the creative industry. We're really open for it.
All right. This was such an inspiring conversation, and I do thank you for coming. And this brings us to the end of our interview.
Thanks for having me, Priscilla.
Thank you so much for coming. This brings us to the end of this episode with me, Priscilla Mkwakavi. Until next time.